I mean, service for me is relatively simple. It's how you show up and serve. We are in service of community. We are in service of the people who are doing incredible work, oftentimes under-resourced in communities. So it's a way of being, it's a way of living, it's the way in which we truly exemplify our mission.
Through all of MCR's work, we really seek to help support organizations on their journey to organizational strength. I think what we see a lot is that organizations have tremendous programs and they have tremendous vision and understanding of what the populations they serve need, but aren't always resourced to focus on operations in the same way. And so, nor should they. They are experts in their programming. And so how can we help fill that gap, especially through our legal programs and being able to provide that niche expertise to help them be operationally strong in the same way that they're programmatically strong?
I'm Maureen Krasner. I'm the Director of Legal Programs at MCR. So the legal programs encompass a lot of different aspects. We have our primary goal is to connect with nonprofits and provide them with the legal services that they need to move forward with their mission.
We are there to be a resource and a bridge to help them address issues that they are facing.
We also provide clinics where we can go through and identify for nonprofits what legal needs they may have, help them to kind of sort through where they may have needs that they may not have been aware of. That could be through direct services of the MCR lawyers and legal team, or it can also be with pro bono lawyers who volunteer their time.
In 2021, we were still seeing a lot of specific legal needs related to the pandemic. I think organizations were still trying to figure out, navigating leases or purchasing property, or perhaps their budget had changed and they were thinking about employment issues, and that demand was still really high.
2021 was definitely a hybrid year, so there was a lot of trying to deliver some of the services we weren't able to do in 2020.
We also were very grateful to be able to partner with Miller Canfield to have a senior attorney on their staff serve as kind of de facto legal counsel at MCR, which was a huge boon to our capacity to be able to have that resource for nonprofits.
Hi, I'm Leo Gadeen. I'm an attorney at Miller Canfield, Paddock and Stone in their Kalamazoo office. I've worked as a volunteer for MCR for several years, many years. I can't remember when I started.
So MCR's work really happens on two different planes. One is that one-on-one assistance, the bread and butter work we've done for years working alongside nonprofits, but perhaps more impactfully, really working to transform systems. So how are we removing the barriers and changing the practices and the attitudes that really prevent nonprofits and communities from thriving? And so that may look like, how are we helping law firms and attorneys that perhaps don't know much about Detroit understand more about the systemic issues that communities are facing?
At MCR, we enable not only the attorneys here to be of service to clients and work with clients, but we also provide an opportunity for attorneys all over the state to fulfill their pro bono requirements.
And MCR, I think, offered the opportunity that they would create a nonprofit legal clinic and invite nonprofit organizations to apply, and then those organizations would meet with attorneys from Miller Canfield and Meritor who would partner together and then meet with the leaders of the nonprofit groups.
My name is Melvin Chuney. I'm the president of the Russell Woods Sullivan Area Association.
So Russell Woods and organizations like Russell Woods are important because they're longtime clients that have come back and forth with a history with MCR. And also so rooted in their neighborhoods.
We service all of the community needs. That's what we're here for. All of the quality of life issues that we may have. So there's a lot that we do to help one another.
Russell Woods is a really strong neighborhood organization with some really committed leaders. They've been there for a long time.
We've been around since 1958. So we're not going anywhere, and we care about this community. So the city knows this because we interact with them. So they gave us a seat at the table to have a voice in what goes on. When there are grants available, the block grants, things that the city offer, we disperse that information because this historic district has many different facets that we actually need special help with because we have certain rules and regulations to follow.
In 2021, the organization was at a spot where it was ready. It was at a a moment of transition, ready for the next change coming out of 2020 and the year that it was, and some of the things that had gone on in the organization.
And I understand that they were entitled to a grant, but the grant was being held up because there were some issues that they needed to resolve, some legal issues they needed to resolve.
And it was the first year that MCR had a virtual legal clinic. We'd always done these in person and met, and that's when really those connections can be made through the organization, with the organizations and the lawyers. So we did it virtually.
So the goal of the clinic was to help them work out some of those issues.
MCR is wonderful. We had major issues, things that went haywire with money and people, and it was just all screwed up. But once we got the legal help from MCR, they put us on the right track.
With a neighborhood organization like Russell Woods, where everybody there has a regular day job, these are all volunteers leading in their communities, it was really a great opportunity to carve out time really for the organization.
And we were able to, by sitting down together and collaborating and listening to what Russell Woods needed, to formulate what I think was a really excellent response. We helped draft amendments to its articles. We helped draft amendments to its bylaws.
They went through our bylaws, helped us out with that, with paperwork with the state and the city and the federal government.
This is again a situation I think where sometimes people they're good at what they do in running the neighborhood, but they run into an impasse. Maybe it's legal or accounting or something else, and they just kind of get stuck, and you just don't want to take the next step for fear that you're going to make a mistake, and so nothing gets done.
Their legal team, what they provided for us, once we became in good standing following all the rules that the state has and what the lawyers knew to help us get back in good standing, that allowed us to be in good standing to receive grants once again and actually go further than we've ever been before.
I think there's a really good feeling that you should be getting from this, that you not only helped one client, but you really helped a really big community that's benefiting from the work of that client.
For the lawyers to be able to actually work with a client and see the issues that they're facing, see the barriers that are there, and to be able to see how their work can help just ease some of them, but to see the systematic change that needs to happen, to start to identify how they as lawyers can advocate for some of these issues that these groups are facing that are beyond just that transactional legal work, that can help to make the systems change. All of this happens just in the natural course of working together, working side by side on a problem, as opposed to reading about something and not necessarily working with each other.
No, nothing for me to do. He's honking. Let me get up.